So, for the female body, estrogen has hundreds of jobs. It keeps your joints lubricated. We know that frozen shoulder is a really common diagnosis in women who are in perimenopause and menopause because the estrogen receptors just aren't getting the estrogen. They're not having molecular sex between the estrogen and the estrogen receptor. So, estrogen is really critical in women. It regulates mood, um, breast development, development of hips. It's a lubricant for your joints. It's also really critical for your skin. When estrogen goes down, you make less collagen, and that's why women notice that their skin ages. And in men, it's a little bit different. The dynamic range is more narrow. And what we generally want with men is for you to have enough estrogen to serve some of these bodily functions, like with keeping your bones strong, um, but not too much.
Does it have a role in weight distribution in my body? So where the fat
Yeah.
stores and stuff?
So in men, I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. I'll have to look it up and get back to you. But in women, yes, absolutely. So one of the things that happens for women over the age of 40 is that they typically become insulin resistant. Their cells become numb to insulin. And what we know is that they gain about 5 pounds of fat and they lose about 5 pounds of muscle every decade after age 40. So there's this redistribution of fat, to your point, where they deposit less at their breasts and their hips and their buttocks and more at their abdomen. Does that happen in men? I think there's some version of it in men, but I just would have to confirm that.
And is that inevitable?
No, 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 you have a choice. So for women, I think what's important is to understand what are your estrogen levels that are associated with your best function. And that's why I think baseline testing can be so helpful to know where your thyroid is right now, your cortisol, your testosterone, to know where you are with your metabolic health so that when you're in your 40s, you can look back and say, okay, I was in a state of optimization. I want to go back to something similar to that. So for women, what I would say is right now, 73 to 75% of women do not get the treatment for perimenopause and menopause that they deserve. They're not being offered, for instance, hormone therapy. And that has to change. But hormone therapy can help to reverse this so that you are more likely to not have some of these body composition changes as you get older. And it's not just hormone therapy. I would say it's beyond hormone therapy. It's estrogen, progesterone, testosterone, but it's also heavy weightlifting. It's cardiovascular fitness. It's disposing of the glucose properly, eating the right foods.
Disposing of the glucose properly?
Yes.
What do you mean by that?
So if you're, like when I was in my 30s, my fasting glucose was very high. It was in the prediabetes range. And so I needed to change the way that I was burning through glucose, like using it with exercise. So it's like an input-output equation where you're inputting with your food and you're outputting with your exercise. And you want to get a good match between the two.
And resistance training, strength training is the optimal way to dispose of glucose, right?
I think it's a critical way. I mean, what we know with strength training is it builds muscle. And so the more muscle mass that you have, generally, the better your metabolism.